right, all right. Shalom, 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 Israel. All right. Shalom. We're the sons of Zion Israelites. All right. And we go out week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of this nation and to also edify people to prepare them for the marriage. All right. This is welcome to another episode of Faith by Works, where we study a commandment every single week. All right. Where we learn how to serve the Most High God in deed and in truth. Right, this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to Yahweh, the Father, by him. So everything that we do, right, is by Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? The way we speak, all right, the way we talk, right, the way we think, and everything that we put our hand to do is to glorify, all right, the Most High God by way of his Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. So with that, we say Kal Halal Yahweh by Hashem wa Malak Yahweh Shah, right, in the Paleo Hebrew. It's the book of James, chapter 2 and verse 14. What does it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save him? So faith alone, right, is a false balance. The commandments alone is a false balance. Together, we bring those two together and we have the proper way in serving the Most High God, right? Verse 17, even so faith, if it have not works, is dead, being alone. Ye a man say, thou hast faith and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. All right? So you have to put forth action in loving the Most High God in deed and in truth, right? And it goes hand in hand with the topic of today's lesson, right? The commandment of this week is having faith in the Most High God, believing that he is, right? Let's see, Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 5, it says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might, right? With that commandment, we have to remember the importance of faith. Hebrews 11 and verse number 6. It says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So in order to love the Most High God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, you have to believe that the Most High God exists. You have to believe that he is your refuge, he is your protector, he is your guidance, right? When we go through these afflictions, right? And when we have terror before us, right? And life is it gets real scary, right? We know the destruction to come. Hey, we have to believe that the Most High God is going to be our refuge, man. He's going to be the one to rescue us. He's going to be the one to comfort us in every which way. And it is impossible to please him if we don't keep this in mind with our diligence, right? This is the book of Psalm, chapter 119 and verse 97. Oh, how love I thy law. It is my meditation all the day. And this is why we study the law, statutes, and commandments week in and week out, man. We're supposed to meditate on these things. And this week, we're going to be really meditating on how important it is, to have faith and to believe in the Most High God with everything in us, right? And I wrote that, I'm going to pass it.
Khan, shalom, Israel. I'm saying, to build on the brother's point, this class is going over faith, right? And how it is impossible to please the Lord without having faith, right? I'm going to get this precept real quick. So this is the book of Matthew chapter 21 and verse 21. It says, and Yahweh Shah answered and said unto them, verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also, if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. In all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive. So there's some really, really powerful points that our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai is making, right, in this point of wisdom that he's delivering. There's some stipulations. When you pray, in order for you to be heard, you have to believe in the thing that it is you praying for. Then you shall receive the thing that you ask, if it be the Lord's will. right? So faith is very, very, very important, and faith is required for your prayers to even be answered, right? Um, so I'm gonna get a mighty account, right, of Yahweh Shah showing his faith in the highest, and him being that example for us that we shall walk after, right? So I'm gonna get the book of Luke chapter 22 and verse 1. It says, "Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover. And the chief priests and scribes sought how they might kill him, for they feared the people." Right? So the context is going into the Lord's Supper, right? Where Yahweh Shah knew that he was going to be portrayed, but he knew that the Lord's will had to be done. He had faith in the Lord, right? Verse 21, "But behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me is with me on this table. And truly, the Son of Man goeth as it was determined, but woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed." So Yahweh Shah knew the man that was going to betray him was sitting at the very table that he was eating at, that he was breaking bread with. And this is the point, verse 41. "And when he was drawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling to the ground." Right? So this is, Yahweh Shah knowing that his hour is coming and his time is near. But he had faith in the Lord and knowing that what he's doing is a work that had to be done via the will of the Most High. Right? So this is a mighty account of our Lord and Savior, showing that example of how we are to show forth our faith to the Lord. I'm gonna pass it to the next brother.
Mighty points, Kings. Shalom, Israel. Like I say, this week we're going into faith, right? And faith is very important, right? Because again, as Hebrews 11:6 says, that for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, right? So we have to make sure that we're always seeking the Most High. We have to make sure that we show him that we believe that he exists, right? Even in his name, Yahweh, right? It means he is or he exists. We have to thoroughly believe that. That's that faith, right? We get the book of Isaiah, chapter 55 and verse number 6. It says, "Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near," right? So we're actually commanded to seek the Most High. We're actually commanded to look for him, search for him. And we do that through searching through his scriptures. Real quick, let me get the book of Romans before I make this next point. Get the Romans, book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 17, right? It says, "So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High." So we build that faith. We seek the Most High by literally being in his book, right? He left us a word to understand who he is, what his will was for us, what things that we should be doing here on this earth, how to serve him, right? How to be pleasing in his sight, right? And these are things that we have to wrestle with. We have to take in. We have to study daily, week in and week out. We have to meditate on these things, as the brother brought up, right? Because this is our whole duty, right? It's the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 2, and verse 25. It says, "We have been careful that they that will read may have delight, and that they that are desirous to commit to memory might have ease, and that all into whose hands it comes might have profit," right? So these things are literally here to benefit us. They are here to be of life. They're nourishing bread and water for our spirits at the end of the day, right? That's what seeking the Most High is. That's what building up that faith is, right? And at the end of the day, there's no other way to do so. We can always think to ourselves that, hey, I got faith that I'm going to be saved because of this, or I got faith that I'm going to be saved because of that, or I got faith that I'm going to be okay because I got a large bank account, or I got a good job, or I got great health insurance, so on and so forth. But that's putting
faith into the wrong type of things. At the end of the day, these scriptures are what we should have our ultimate faith in, because these scriptures are the direct words of the Most High, right? These scriptures are our lifeblood. Real quick, before I pass and get the book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and verse 6, right? These scriptures are our wisdom, right? As pertaining to the book of Proverbs, right? Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6, it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Most High is his treasure," right? So we have to treasure these things. These things have to be the first foremost things in our minds each and every day. These things have to be at the top of our priorities. These things have to be how we live our lives. And with that, yeah.
God, the brothers was making some mighty points, right? To line me back off to what the brother was going into in regards of these scriptures that we meditate on and read, right? These scriptures are here for us to actually learn how to execute that adequate, that desirable amount of faith that the Most High God requires of us, right? It's the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. It says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning." So if we desire, right, tremendous faith, if we want to have that, right, in sincerity, right, and we're trying to execute keeping that commandment of having faith, right, we need to look, you know, amongst the prophets of old, we need to look into our forefathers and how they exhibited faith when they were placed in afflictions, when they were placed in certain scenarios by the Most High God and tempted by the Most High God. How did they exhibit that faith, right? It says what? Continuing on, it says that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, right? Precepted to 2 Timothy chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 14. It says, "But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through faith, which is in Hamashiach Yahushua. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of the Most High may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works." Good works are what? Faith, right? So let's actually go into some accounts, right, on tremendous faith, right? That ideal faith that the Most High God requires of us, right? We're going to go to the book of Genesis, right? Actually, I'm going to start at Hebrews 11 and verse 7, right? It says, "By faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith." Right? So when you go to Hebrews 11, right, it talks about faith. It talks about how it is impossible, right, to serve the Most High God without it. And then it also briefly mentions some accounts on who exhibited the faith that's desired by the Most High. Right? And right here, we're talking about Noah. So let's go to Noah. Let's go to that account, right? We're going to go to Genesis chapter 6, right? We're going to start at verse 11, right? How did forefather Noah, okay, exhibit that faith that the Most High God requires? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and verse 11. And it reads, "The earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence." Right? So right now, right, we can see that the world is full of violence, right? It's full of wickedness, right? Just like back then when it was full of wickedness, right? We see that the world is a horrible place. It's full of spirits that hop on our people. Our people are lost. Our people are corrupt, right? So let's see, right? Read on. And it reads what at verse 12? "And the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And the Most High said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make it in the ark, and thou pitch it within a pitch. Right? So the Most High God is commanding Noah to do what? Build an ark. All right. I'm about to destroy this place. And you're gonna need an ark for refuge. You're gonna need an ark for protection. Right? So get thee. It's just like in an account with Sodom and Gomorrah, right? The Most High God said, "What? I'm gonna destroy this place." Right? Then He sent His angels and was like, "Hey, look, you need to get somewhere, all right? Because I'm finna rain fire and brimstone." Well, right here, He's warning Noah, hey, and He's commanding Noah, "Look, I need you to make an ark. I'm finna destroy this place. This place is wicked." Right? Let's see. Let's go to Genesis 7, right? In verse 1, it says, "And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation." So he sees righteousness in Noah, right? When the Most High God sees righteousness in you, He will protect you. Diligently seeking the Most High God, He's going to protect you, man, right? He's going to spare His wrath upon you, right? Skipping down to verse 5. And it says, "What? And Noah did according unto all that the Lord commanded of him." Right? So Noah was perfect and upright. He moved upright, which is why he's receiving this. Right? And you got to understand, right? And this was a time where, okay, Most High says, "Hey, look, I'm gonna send rain, and I'm gonna flood the earth." You got to understand that this is a foreign thing to both Noah and everybody around Noah, right? That's seeing him build this ark. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6, it says, "But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground." So the way the Most High God replenished the plants and watered the plants was from a mist of the ground. He wasn't raining. He wasn't sending rain. So you got to understand how this is foreign to Noah, yet he still kept the commandments of the Most High God, feared him, all right, and actually did what he told him to do, despite the fact that he didn't know what rain was. That takes tremendous faith, right? We're going to go to Genesis 7 and verse 15, right? Genesis 7 and verse 15, it says, "And they went in unto Noah into the ark, two and two of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in." Right? So, boom, you have the flood coming, right? Verse 17, "And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bear up the ark, and it was lift up above the earth." Right? So you have it there. It's very, very plain. Imagine, right, being commanded by the Most High God, "Hey, go build an ark." All right. And I want you to gather, right, two of all clean. And I want you to gather two of all unclean, right? Take them upon this ark. Get ready. I'm finna flood the earth. I'm finna send rain for 40 days, 40 nights. What is rain? You know what I'm saying? All I know about is mist. That takes tremendous amount of faith to turn away from a foreign object and to do the commandments of the Most High God, do what is commanded of the Most High God. And we have to highlight that, right? Just like forefather Noah, we have to follow the Most High God even when we are blinded, even when things are foreign, even when it doesn't look. Because when we look at Hebrews 11 and verse 1, right, it says that, let's actually get it, right? Let's go back to it. Because we got to look at the definition on how this applies to Noah's situation, right? Hebrews 11 and verse 1, it says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." We don't see rain every day. Yet the Most High God is commanded, and we give obedience to it. I yield them.
Con. Those are some really good points. And you made mention of two things that I actually want to kind of build on and land me back on, right? As it pertains to faith, you said faith is your righteousness, right? Faith without works is dead. Your works of the law, that's your righteousness, Deuteronomy 6:25. But then you also have the righteousness that is of faith, right? Because faith without works is dead. This is the book of Romans chapter 10 and verse 5. It says, for Moses described the righteousness which is of the law, that man which doeth those things shall live by them. But the righteousness which is of faith speaketh on this wise. Say not in thine heart, who shall ascend into heaven? That is to bring Hamashiach down from above, right? So faith is very, very, very important. Faith is, the Christian church, they make it seem as though the Old Testament is all about the law, the law, the law. And then you get into the New Testament, and then Christ is speaking faith, faith, faith. But what the world doesn't understand, that faith is harmonious, and faith is read from the beginning to the end. The Old Testament, right? The prophets of old, they had enormous amounts of faith. And that was what the precept that the brother was, Romans 15:4, what he was kind of building on and trying to get into. These accounts of old are the accounts that show us how we must show exorbitant amounts and a high degree of faith, right? So before we get into that, right, I want, the people to really understand it. We are commanded to have faith. It is required of you to have faith, and you will be killed, and the Lord will kill you for not having it, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 21, right? And verse number 8, it says, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, which have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death, right? So it's very important for you to have this faith that we're talking about, because this ultimately is a matter of life and death, right? So in the spirit of bringing righteous examples out, right? Romans chapter 15:4, thumbing through the precepts and going through the examples of our righteous forefathers who showed this faith, right? I'm gonna get the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 20, right? This is going into one of the kings of Judah, King Jehoshaphat, right? And so I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, and it came to pass after this also, that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon, and with them on the other side, the Amorites came against Jehoshaphat to battle. Then there came some that told Jehoshaphat, saying, there cometh a great multitude against thee from beyond the sea on the side of Syria. And behold, they be in Hazazon Tamar, which is in Gedi, right? And Jehoshaphat feared and set himself to seek the Lord, Yahweh, and proclaimed the fast throughout all Judah. And Judah gathered themselves together to ask help of the highest. Even out of the cities of Judah, they came to seek the highest, right? So you have a multitude of nations, a great multitude who have risen up against the children of Judah, right? Let's see how our King Jehoshaphat responds and shows this beautiful example of faith, right? This is the book of Second Chronicles 20 and 15. He said, hearken ye all Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat, thus saith the Lord unto you, be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but of Yahweh's, right? So though Jehoshaphat feared, though he was placed in a position of discomfort, right? He knew, right, as a righteous man of the Lord, I gotta turn to the Lord. I gotta turn to the highest. I gotta seek the one and only true God who has the power to deliver me from this situation, right? Now let's see how the Lord dealt with him. Verse 23. It says, for the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to Salah. I kind of read up a little bit. Verse 22. And when they began to sing and to praise, the Lord set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another. And when Judah came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked unto the multitude, and behold, there were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped. Right? So this is the power of the God that we serve, right? The God of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And this is the reward that you can get for from the Lord by having faith, right? The kings of Judah, the king of Judah, and our forefathers, they were placed in a position of vulnerability. They were placed in a position where they had nobody to turn unto, so they turned unto the Lord. And if you read the account, you see from verse 22 to 24, they didn't have to lift up a sword, a spear. They have to do nothing. All they did was sing praises unto the Lord, and they watched salvation happen in Israel. They watched their enemies fall, right? The Lord put a spirit on them to make them fight themselves, right? That's powerful, right? And with that, I yield.
I'm gonna let me back up the mighty points that brothers already bringing out. Israel, we got to understand how mighty the God that we serve is, the Most High is. We got to understand that He's in control of all things. At the end of the day, real quick, what does Yahweh Shai say? All right, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 10, and verse 28. It says, "And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear Him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." At the end of the day, we have to get out of the mindset of being afraid of the so-called established authority of this world, right? We have to get out of the mindset of being afraid of going without, of losing a job, of losing a paycheck, of losing a livelihood, of losing so-called freedom, right? Not being incarcerated. We have to get out of those type of mindsets and be in the mindset that at the end of the day, the Most High is in control of all of this. He's what wakes me up in the morning, and He's who will take me out of here if I go off, if He sees that I'm just wicked and there's no hope for me at the end of the day, right? The Most High, real quick, let's get the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, and verse 7. It's very wise to fear the Most High because what? It reads, "I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things," right? At the end of the day, every bad thing that you can think of that could possibly happen to you, well, it was ordained by the Most High. So it's worthless to put fear, faith, trust into anything other than the Most High. Brother brought out the commandment of Deuteronomy 6 and 5, right? What we got to understand is that these commandments, they mesh together, right? They intertwine in such a beautiful way, right? Deuteronomy 6 and 5 says, "And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might," right? Well, another commandment, book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 3, it says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." At the end of the day, when you're having faith in all of these other things, you're literally putting faith in other gods before the Most High Yahweh at the end of the day, right? The book of Isaiah, chapter 31. Let's see how the Most High feels about that. He says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Most High." Again, it goes back to that seeking, right? It goes back to believing that he is and putting him in his proper place, being above all things, being the top priority, having his law, statutes, and commandments as frontlets in your eyesight. All right. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, Israel, what kind of thing am I putting over the Most High? What am I trusting in over the Most High? Is it my financial status? Is it what my social status? Is it what my family, my friends? Is it what the things that I have? Am I putting these things over the Most High? Am I trusting in these things? Am I trusting in what the government ability to give me food stamps every month? Am I trusting in the government's ability to make sure I collect the child support check? Whatever it is, understand that you are putting an idol above the Most High. That's not faith, right? That's strength. That's what's the word I'm looking for? The word is escaping me right now, but that's being dependent on the world at the end of the day. That's being dependent on everything but the Most High God. And the Most High God is going to get up with you for it, right? Get the book of Malachi. Chapter 3, right? Because like the brother Yeshaya said, like it's crazy how Christians like to divvy up the Bible in between a so-called Old Testament and a so-called New Testament, saying that one only goes into the law while the other goes into faith. At the end of the day, the Most High God is the same all the way through. This is the book of Malachi chapter 3 and verse 6. And prove that real quick. It says, "For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." So these things that were preached aforetime by the prophets, by our forefathers, they were the same things that were preached by Yahweh Shai and the disciples. You know what I'm saying? There's the same things that are going to be preached by sons of Zion, Lord willing. You know what I'm saying? So let's jump down to verse 13. It says, "Your words have been stout against me, said Yahweh. Yet ye say, what have we spoken so much against thee? Ye have said, it is vain to serve the Most High. And what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before Yahweh of hosts? And now we call the proud happy. Yea, they that work wickedness are set up," right? At the end of the day, we see, and it's real easy. Satan got it so crafty, right? Scriptures say folly is set in great dignity. Satan has it so crafty that we see people going off and they're being compensated for it materialistically, right? Financially, right? We see Jake going out and selling drugs to his people, right? It doesn't matter the destruction that he's causing his community. He got a nice car outside with some nice rims on it, right? We see Eve getting on the internet and exposing herself to the world, right? It doesn't matter what type of mindset, damaging mindset she's giving other little girls and other little boys for that matter. At the end of the day, she's getting X amount of dollars every single month, right? This is wickedness. This is that dependence on the world and not that faith in the Most High that we're talking about, right? It says, "And now we call the proud happy. Yea, they that work wickedness are set up. Yea, they that tempt the Most High are even delivered," right? So it looks good, the things that they have, right? It says, "Then they that feared the Most High spake often one to another, and the Most High hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Most High, and that thought upon his name." At the end of the day, the Most High God is seeing everything. So not only is he seeing the wicked and how they're prospering, he's seeing the righteous that are choosing to fear him, that are choosing to have faith in him, that are choosing to seek him early, right? That are choosing to follow his law, statutes, and commandments. And he's jotting it all down. He's keeping remembrance of it, right? And what's going to happen to those that are having the faith in the Most High God, doing all of those things that show you have the faith? Verse 17, it says, "And they shall be mine, said the Most High of hosts, in the day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not," right? The Most High is going to cause that separation to be made, right? He's going to draw that line, so to speak, just so, Lord willing, we are a part of that number, just so the ones that are a part of that number are able to see, hey, those people over there, let's not be like them. Let's not hang around them. Let's keep our distance. Let's continue to serve the Most High God, right? And with that, I yield.
Kind, King. Very valiant in the spirit, brother. Made some very, very good points. All right, so let's shine some more light on an ancestor, right? A person highlighted by the Most High God who exhibited the faith, right, that He wants us to have. All right, we're gonna go to 1 Samuel chapter 1, right, and look at how foremother Hannah, right, showed great faith. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1, right, and verse 4. And it reads, and when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord has shut up her womb. Right? So this is the affliction of foremother Hannah, right? She actually had her womb shut, right? When we go down to verse 10, it reads, it says, what? And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto the Lord and wept sore. So what did she do? Right? She prayed unto the Most High God, right? Through her afflictions. And that's one thing that we have to do, right? In actually pursuing that faith is actually praying unto the Most High God, right? And crying out to Him, right? Because if we bring a baby home from the hospital and that baby is colicking, or that baby is hungry, or that baby is uncomfortable in a dirty diaper or something like that, and he or she doesn't cry, how exactly do we know how to, take care of this baby? That's one thing that we got to realize. Now, the Most High God knows everything, right? Let me clear that up. He knows everything that we need, right? He's omniscient, omnipotent, and all-knowing. But He actually requires us to cry out unto Him. So as children of the Most High God and exhibiting that faith, right? Believing, fearing, right? That He is our refuge, we have to cry unto Him throughout our afflictions. And that's what Hannah did right here, right? Verse 11, it says, and she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid and remember me and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. So, Lord, if you bless me with the son, guess what? I'm going to give him to him. He's going to be a servant of you. Please, Lord, I'm crying out unto you. I need a son. I want a son. Please give me a son so I can give him unto you, right? We're going to skip down, right, to verse 20. And it says, well, wherefore it came to pass when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived that she bare a son and called his name Samuel, saying, because I have asked him of the Lord. Right? So guess what? Now the Most High God blesses her with that son that she prayed for. Verse 27. Right? And it says, well, for this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition, which I asked of him. Therefore, also, I have lent him to the Lord as long as he liveth. He shall be lent to the Lord, and he worshiped the Lord there. Right? So Samuel, right, chosen by the Most High God, right, to do his works, right? He was birthed by faith. The Lord blessed, right, Samuel with life. The Lord blessed his mother Hannah with this child, right, through the tremendous exhibition of faith, man. We are blessed when we exhibit this, right? So I just wanted to shine light on Hannah, on how she had faith in the Most High God. She feared the Most High God. She cried unto him, right? And the Most High God blessed her, gave her favor, right? I yield there.
Khan. That's a good point, King. And just to build on that, I want to make another point, right? So In the previous points that I brought out when I went into the account of Jehoshaphat, I talked about how in the law we're commanded to have faith, and that there are punishments that come from our lack of faith thereof, right? That faith being suffering the second death, right? What I want, the people, the nation to understand is, well, there's also a reward when you do have faith, right? There's deliverance from in your time of trouble, and there's even a mercy that you get from the Lord when you show faith, when you trust in Him, and come back to the Lord in sincerity and in truth. And the embodiment of this point of wisdom, right? We're gonna go to the account of Hezekiah, right? One of our one of the few righteous kings that we had, right? So I'm gonna go to the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 32. Right, I'm gonna read verse 1 for the context, and I'm gonna kind of skip around to kind of give the gist of the account and the point. This is Second Chronicles 32. In verse 1, it says, after these things and the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered into Judah and encamped against the fenced cities and thought to win them for himself, right? So you have Sennacherib who's rising up against southern kingdom, right? Verse 9, after this did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, send his servants to Jerusalem, but he himself laid siege against Lachish, and all his power with him, unto Hezekiah, king of Judah, and to all Judah that were Jerusalem, saying, thus saith Sennacherib, king of Assyria, whereon do ye trust that ye abide in the siege in Jerusalem? Does not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst, saying, the Lord our God shall deliver us out of the hand of king of Assyria? Right? So you got all right, he mocking, right? He, who what do you mean? You're gonna be delivered out of my hand? Have not you seen the destruction that I've laid siege on all the other kingdoms of the land? Right? Verse 13. It says, know ye not what I and my fathers have done unto all the people of other lands, with the gods of the nations of those lands, any was able to deliver their lands out of mine hand? So he's kind of, brother proud, you know what I'm saying? Boastful, right? It's a proud heathen, right? Speaking boldly against the power of Jacob, right? Verse 15. Now therefore let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this matter, neither yet believe him, for no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of my hand. Right? So, you know what I'm saying? He's speaking boldly against the Lord. Let's see what Hezekiah did in his faith, right? In his trust in the Lord. Let's see what he did. Verse 20. And for this cause, Hezekiah the king and the prophet Isaiah the son of Amos prayed and cried to heaven, right? And the Lord sent an angel which cut all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face, right? So you see, right, when you speak proudly against the Lord, right, that the Lord has the power to take world powers and bring them a base, right? This is the God that we serve, and all He wants from you is to have faith in Him, right? Did not the Lord God of our fathers bring down Egypt, right, with 10 mighty plagues? That was a superpower at the time. Is not America, right, a so-called superpower of the earth? Has not Esau been given the blessing of the sword with our people under dominion, right? The Lord has the power to bring Esau in this captivity. We're in a base, but He waiting on you to have faith in Him, right? Ephesians 4:13 says, "Till we come in the unity of faith, right? Then the Lord is going to deliver us. The Lord we ain't waiting on the Lord. The Lord waiting on us to get our stuff together, right? To have faith on Him, to remember that He's our power, right? It's impossible to please the God, to please the Most High without having faith, right? But I'm gonna finish my point though, right? It says, he cried unto the Lord. So Hezekiah and the prophet Isaiah prayed and cried to heaven, And the Lord sent an angel which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land, and he was come into the house of his God. They that came forth of his own bowels slew him there with the sword. Right? Now you see that? Right? Now the Lord took your own people to kill you because you spoke proudly against them, and he made you a base and a shame. Right? Now let's see, in addition to the salvation of Israel, let's see what the Lord gave Hezekiah for his faith. Right? I'm gonna go to the book of I had it here. I was holding it. First Kings. Let's see, hold on. I was just holding it. Salakia, bear with me. Second Kings 20. Right, I was holding it. I just lost it while I was bringing my point out. The book of Second Kings, chapter 20. And I'm going to start at verse 1. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, came to him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Most High, saying, I beseech thee, O Yahweh, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth, with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Right? Verse 4. And it came to pass, afore Isaiah was going out into the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, Turn again, and tell Hezekiah the captain of my people, Thus saith the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. And on the third day thou shalt go up unto the house of the Lord, and I will add unto thee thy days 15 years. And I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city for mine own sake and for my servant David's sake. Right? So when you have faith in the Lord, not only do you get salvation and deliverance from your enemies, but you also can get some time added on to your life. Right? So that's the power of faith, and that's the power of the God that we serve. Right? Now with that, I'm gonna pass it to the brother so he can make his next point.
Shoot, not too many more points to make. King, your brother's bringing it almighty. You know what I'm saying? So, true with that. Honestly, I was gonna go on to Second Maccabees chapter 7, but I would implore, I would urge everyone listening here today to go and read that account, right? Of having faith, of loving not your own life unto death, right? Being faithful to the Most High unto death, right? That's a very mighty account of a mother and 7 brethren that were literally being tortured to death by the wicked heathens, right? So I would really urge that. But for now, like I said, I'm gonna get the book of Psalm chapter 46. That way I can leave it here, right? I'm gonna start from the top. It says, The Most High is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Selah, right? So whatever is happening, whenever you're in any type of trouble, right? The Most High tells you that there's only one name in which we shall be saved by. You have to have faith in that one name. Again, you have to always seek. You have to seek the Most High early so that you know who you should call on, so that you know who your power is at the end of the day, right? When man fails you, when this government fails you, when your money fails you, right? The Most High will never fail you, but you always have to have that faith. It says, verse 4, it says, There is a river, the streams thereof shall make glad the city of the Most High, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. The Most High is in the midst of her. She shall not be removed. The Most High shall help her. and that right early, right? The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted, right? This is going into these last days that we're coming up on, right? World War III is right around the corner. I don't know if y'all see this or not, but I would implore you to just start looking around. Read Matthew chapter 24 and understand that the things that Yahweh Shai brought out, you can see it happening right before your very eyes, right? Verse 7, the Most High of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Salah. Again, understand where your help is, right? Come, behold the works of the Most High, what desolations he hath made in the earth. At the end of the day, again, he's in control of all things. He kills and he makes alive, right? There's none that can deliver from his hand, as according to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 39, right? Verse 9, it says, he maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. Be still and know that I am the Most High, right? That's the point that I want everybody to take into account, right? The Most High is in control of everything. So shut up, pull out your scriptures, read, seek the Most High God, because he is in control of everything. Have faith in him. Have faith in nothing else but the Most High and his word, right? It says, I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Most High of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Salah, right? At the end of the day, know who your help is. Know how to please the Most High by seeking the Most High, by keeping his commandments and having faith that he is, and having faith that everything he does is just perfect. And with that, I yield.
Con King. Hey, mighty points from the brothers. Right, I'm gonna bring out one more account, right, and then we could pretty much sum it up, right? Because it's very, very plain. Most High God requires us to fear Him, to love Him, and to believe that He exists. That believes that He has the power of all things. Like what tends to happen amongst us in the community, right, is that we fear the creation and not the creator, right? We fear not being able to take care of the rent. We fear not being able to, keep the lights on. We fear not being able to take care of the car notes, right? But what we got to understand is the Most High God blessed us with the house. He blessed us with the safe and reliable means of transportation. He's the provider of all things. And the sooner we realize that and believe that the Most High God has all of the power, to put us in certain situations, certain scenarios, hey, it's then He will bless us. It's then He will be our refuge and show us that, hey, look, I've been here the whole time, right? To actually give you a personal testimony, right? I had to really think upon my actions recently because I've been dealing with car trouble, right? So what tends to happen is both of my vehicles were down. But when I actually went to work last week, a buddy of mine on the job, he says, hey, dang, Frank, you got like 10 cars, huh? Outside looking in, right? I'm blessed beyond measure, but here I am stressing about having car trouble, right? Struggling to get to work, struggling to take care of things, right? While me and the rib is sharing a vehicle. But outside looking in, a coworker sees that I pull up in a Suburban, I pull up in a small box Chevy, I pull up in a Honda, I pull up in a Dodge Ram. All of these different vehicles that were borrowed from family members, from friends in this truth. Hey, outside looking in, it's like, golly, how many cars you got, Frank? And here I am stressing because I'm having car trouble with my vehicle. The whole time, the Most High God has been blessing me with transportation. But yet we stress over the creation, we stress over the scenarios that we're being put in and not focusing on the Most High God has the power of everything. It's like, when are you going to realize, right, that I am the provider of all things? When are you going to realize that what the brother Kasadi was bringing up? Hey, I make the sick, I heal them, right? I make alive. and I destroy and I kill. What we have to understand is the Most High God is in power and not us. We often think that we are in control of a lot of things when we have no control, right? I'm gonna get one more account. We're gonna go to forefather Abraham and how he showed great faith. Right, we're gonna go to the book of Genesis, chapter 22. Right, so we looked at Hannah right previously. Hannah's womb was shut up. We praised. She praised the Most High God, cried unto him, and prayed for a son. Right, who she gave to the Most High God. Well, guess what? Abraham did just this as well. Let's see how the Most High God uses him. Right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 22, right? In verse 1, it says, "And it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am." Verse 2, "And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of." Right. So after going through many afflictions, right, many many accounts where he's tempted by the Most High God, he now has this son who he prayed for, right? And the Most High God does what he says: "Look, take your son, go up and offer him for an offering." So at this point, what? Abraham, he very well could be like, "Oh my goodness, I prayed for the son. Now I got a son, and now you want me to offer him up to you?" Instead, he shows faith. What does he do? Right? We're gonna go to verse 5. And it says, "And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you." So he goes with young men, right, and his son to this mountain that the Most High God tells him to go to, right? And he tells the people, the men that he has come with, "Stay with my horse, right? And me and my son are gonna go up to this altar." So now it's him and his son, right? Didn't complain. No, he did what the Most High God commanded him to do, right? It says what? Verse 6, "And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together." So you got this knife, right? Your only son. You got to understand that this is your only son, man. All of this time you've prayed for a son and you have him, and now the Most High God is saying, take him for an altar. You imagine how hard that is? But Abraham showing faith in the Most High God. I'm following them with a blindfold. See, that's what we got to understand, that faith is the substance of things hoped for and not seen. We still going back to that Hebrews 11:1 as our premise, right? As our foundation. Abraham is doing what? Following the Most High God with that blindfold on. I don't know what the Most High God got in store. I don't know, but he's going to make a way. He's the one that gave me this son. Now he wants me to sacrifice. Look, we're going to read back on, right? It says what? "And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering?" So imagine your son looking up into your eyes. He looking at that knife. Okay, you preparing an offering. Daddy, where the lamb at? You imagine that? You imagine that feeling in your gut, right? Them eyes looking down at your son. Reading on, and it says what? Verse 8. "And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering." So they went both of them together. Abraham said, what? The Lord is going to provide. He's completely blindfolded right now. And he's looking down at his son who is scared and looking around confused. That's faith right there. Verse 9, "And they came to the place which God had told them of, and Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on that altar, the wood." And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest the Most High, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. Yo, that is mighty. That is very, very mighty. And this really bared, you know what I'm saying? This really stuck out to me because you pray for this. You pray for this and you pray for it, and now you have it. And now the Most High God is going to tempt you. All right. You pray for this. I could tell that it's very valuable to you. Sacrifice it. And he did it. So you got to understand, man, right? How faith is important and how the Most High God, right, really delights in us following him blindfolded. In Matthew chapter 6, it tells us how you're not supposed to fear tomorrow. But yet we as men, we often fear how we're going to get the bills paid. How I'm going to feed the kids, right? We got to have faith that the Most High God is going to provide. I yield there. You got any points? Brothers got any points?
King, man, you know what I'm saying? A lot of mighty points was brought out. You know, we kind of touched on the fact that it's impossible to please the Lord without having faith. We've gone into faith being a commandment and a requirement of the Lord. We've gone into the fact that, you know, you will be in jeopardy of the kingdom of heaven, right? And you will be denied the kingdom without having faith. We done talked about the rewards of faith, right? Where it's salvation, is deliverance from your time of trouble, and it's also the Lord adding time, you know what I'm saying, unto your life, right? So, you know, those are pretty much, you know, to sum up all the mighty points that brothers have brought out on why it's so important, right? And then the people also got, you know, some accounts that they can go back and look into, right, to be that comfort and that support that kind of helps them through their time of tribulation, right, as it reads and as you brought out in Romans chapter 15 and verse 4.
All praise to the Most High. Lord willing, somebody was edified or will be edified in the coming days, right? We'll go ahead and wrap it up. Brothers got to get to work. Brothers got to spend time with the fam bam. Hey, we love y'all, Israel. All right. Till next week. Hey, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.